that being said though, I want to get this level in a good spot. I want to get this level in a good spot before Tomodachi Life hits next week. So basically what we have left to do in this level study is adding a few more geometry pieces in the basement part of this map, and then adding a few more existing cover pieces, and then we need to do just a quick gameplay pass. So we need to, yeah, there's no nav mesh in here. We need to add a nav mesh, we need to add some player spawns, we need to add some guns and ammo and health and all that. Just very quickly, we'll do a more polished version of the gameplay stuff when we revisit this map. We'll add cover that's not in the original game. I just hit my coffee. We'll add cover that's not in the original game eventually as well, but for now, we will just kind of do a spit shine and get this to a good stopping point for now. Also, Bello, how are you doing today? We are just remaking a arena map from Kid Icarus Uprising right now. Hoping to get it to a good stopping point before I pause game dev streams for a bit. I do want to also, there's like several more arenas I want to remake from this for. We have this whole little Unreal 5 sandbox project, where I've been, for fun, I said I would remake all of these Kid Icarus arenas and potentially even more until we get a Kid Icarus game of some sort of connection to Uprising, be it a port, remake, remaster, or like sequel. But it looks, I said we'll keep doing those until Nintendo gives us that. It looks like we may have this project up for a while. It looks like it might be a bit. But there's a lot of other arenas I want to do. The ones we've done are kind of like the simplest ones to like, and the best variety of levels we've picked out, but these ones aren't honestly like my favorites. There's like a Starlight Observatory, not the Starlight Observatory, but one like very, actually I think it's called Starlight Observatory. Something very similar than like Cosmic and stuff. That has very blocky block out, but it has like a little interior and then a few like exterior spaces on the sides. And I don't know, I really loved that one as a kid, so hoping to get that one. I need to get a capture card for my 3DS first. But I will get a capture card. We're approaching the 500 follower goal here on Twitch, and when we hit 500 followers here over on Twitch, I will have to get a capture card for my 3DS, because the reward for that is playing through all the Zelda games in timeline order. And there are a few that I either have to play on the 3DS or I prefer their 3DS versions. So naturally a capture card or other means, Nintendo look away, will be necessary by that point. And I figure once we go to that length, we can start playing some 3DS and DS games on the channel in general as well. But yeah, we've definitely hit 500 over on the main YouTube channel, which has made me very excited to see. And I'm glad you like the Elden Ring vid. I was just talking about how, actually the next video, I do these video essays monthly, so the next one will be out in May, and that one will be more of a retrospective celebrating 1 year of video essays, and kind of a bit meta, what did I learn from myself this past year? Which videos did well, which ones were my personal favorites, but the algorithm did not pick up at all. Because yeah, the ones with the least views, I feel, in the video essays are the ones that only have a few comments, but they have the strongest like ratio, and the comments are like, this is my favorite video and stuff. But I didn't make it, and they were some of my favorites to make, I just didn't make it clickbaity enough for the algorithm. I think one of the big ones for that is my theme parks and level design video. That's a favorite of mine. A lot of people love it. I use that video to be like, to convince my boyfriend, hey, we gotta go back to Cedar Point. I I'm doing research. We have to go to Cedar Point and potentially Disney Japan one day. Who knows? Who knows? But I loved making that video. A lot of people loved seeing it, but because it had like a very generic title, I didn't do something like, why every theme park stole its design from game developers or something like that, or game developers like me are frauds. Because I didn't do something super clickbaity, I feel like the algorithm didn't really pick it up, but the people that did see it liked it. So I'm trying to find that balance of getting more people to see the video, but getting it to still be me and to not be like, I don't want it to be rage baity is the thing, which I worried about with making a Souls video. I'm like, please no one yell at me. Please no one yell at me. But so far I am happy to say I've just skimmed through like the 30+ comments that came in overnight while I was sleeping. I don't see anything I have to like delete or like make a hey please don't threaten me post about. So that makes me very happy. I think the video where I got the angriest people was my most popular video, which is usually how it goes. The video on me discussing the development of Zelda games. Lots of fun comments at first, people being like, yeah, this is how I feel on the Zelda franchise, and being like, these are my favorite Zelda games, and this is what makes a Zelda game Zelda to me. And then once it got too popular, people were coming in like, you like Zelda games? You should hate yourself. I'm the only Zelda fan. Here, I'm gonna threaten you. And then I would be like, please don't be I was like, hey guys, don't be passive aggressive. And someone responded to that comment being passive aggressive, and I was like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. But yeah, I'm yapping because I'm loading the game up on my 3DS. I crashed. Oh, that's right, I gotta do nearby because we don't have internet anymore. But yeah, it was really fun being able to make a video like that on. I've usually been doing like Nintendo stuff is kind of my bread and butter, either that or talking about things that I've experienced like and found really fascinating to develop for as a level designer in the industry, right? But yeah, to approach it as something where it's like, hey, this to be like, what was I saying? Hold on. What arena? Okay, I got the right arena. There we go. But yeah, to approach it as, hey, this is my first time playing a game. It's not a Square Enix game. It's not a Nintendo game. It's something completely outside of the genres I usually play, but it is a very popular, very huge genre. It was a Game of the Year winner, and I found out that it does the exact opposite of everything I've been trained to do and I prefer in level design. Can I still enjoy this game? And yeah, I still stand by the answer being, it was stressful at times, but I definitely liked it. Part of me, oh, don't tell, my main community's gonna watch this VOD and be like, yes, I'm taking a break from Souls-like for now. But I would really like to play like Lies of P, maybe several years down the line after that, investigating Dark Souls, or like maybe even we played a lot of Shadow of the Erdtree, but we never finished it. I never went to the final boss in Shadow of the Erdtree. I was like, okay, we have enough runes now, I'm gonna go, because I was scared. Potentially I could revisit it one day, years in the future, but I'm like, I'm still thinking about Elden Ring after making all those compilations, after making the essay video. It's still like got a place in the back of my mind. Like, I fully get why people call this their favorite game. I think it, for me, I'll always prefer like more of the adventure side of thing, but I think it's a very valid take. Like, I'm so happy I was able to see like all the love people have for it's showing in a lot of the like I said, comments right now have been very nice, so it's showing a lot people expressing what it is they love about this game as well. So I'm very happy I played it. Let's see, we've got one pillar down in this corner here. I did that video, that Mario Galaxy video. I still need to actually watch it because I figure it's probably very good. But yeah, that one came out I think either a few days before or a few days after my Galaxy essay went up, and I was like, I don't know if I can be that clickbaity yet. And I don't even know if they were necessarily fully clickbaity, because I'm like, I bet they are going to talk about it. You can't think of a topic like that and then like shy away from the subject matter. Like, they must have gone all in. I guess it's more finding like the topics like that that are like, they have a super enticing title, but you do actually like fully discuss and go into it as well. You don't actually shy away from it. I'm just gonna shift this cover more to be a little offset so players can loop around here. There we go. Okay, I've got to do some mathematics. How tall is this? Oh, that's right, I can't do the mathematics. They warped the tiles I'm using to measure, they warped the texture for the verticality. I think it's just like, where's our measuring cubes? Get out of there. I think it's just 1 cube tall of verticality. Actually, I don't need a measuring cube for this one. I'm so tired this morning. I don't know if I just had too much coffee yesterday or what, but like I got like the giggle zoomies. And then before I knew it, it was 1 a.m. and I'm like, I was gonna get up at 7:30 to stream. I was gonna get up a little earlier. Wait a minute. I'm trying to practice because I'm gonna get up at 7. Hell, I'm very tempted to get up at 6 next week for Tomodachi Life. I'm like, how early should I get up? My boyfriend's like, you need to sleep too before Tomodachi Life. I'm like, this sounds like propaganda to me, but I'll bite, I guess. I'm so excited for that game. It's going to be so chaotic. The 5 a.m. Tomodachi grind set. I actually was trying to think of like, what was the last game? There's been a lot of good games, like all the Switch 2 like first party stuff has all been stuff I've been super excited for, but not like I can't sleep at night because of it. I'm trying to think. I think maybe Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or like, I think the back-to-back releases of Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, and then 7 Rebirth were all super exciting. But I think because they were so close to each other, I was still able to sleep. I think for Zelda, actually, I guess I'll give Tears of the Kingdom credit for the last one. I like couldn't really sleep for because I ended up staying up. I couldn't sleep, so I stayed up until it released. Let's see, this isn't that big of an angle. But yeah, I think it's been a bit. Not to say, oh, no good games are coming out or anything like that, because I've been very excited for a lot of stuff, but like, I feel like a kid again with the Tomodachi Life news. I remember having not like seen or played Tomodachi Collection, and me, like a lot of Americans, like this was their first Tomodachi Life game, was the 3DS one. Oh, it's so hard to line this up in unlit mode. I think that'll do. Oh yeah, that works perfect for the verticality. I was so worried. I was stressing about this because I'm like, I don't want to put one more set of stairs. It's just a ramp. I was stressing for no reason. But yeah, I remember seeing like that Tomodachi Life Direct for the 3DS game and just being absolutely sold. I was like definitely an avid okay, we gotta add some lights in here. Oh my god. I was definitely an avid life sim person and like Sims and Animal Crossing fan by that point. So like Tomodachi Life was a life sim, but it was like also very different from those. Can I be your Tomodachi wife? I have I did make us, and then I made my sister, because my sister's me is like the best creation I've ever made in my life, in our personal demo file, and I was just I was just like making them interact with each other so much. I'm like keeping an eye on him, like, you gonna be nice to me. I'm gonna feed you chips. But then I had played that before. That was like my first playthrough of the demo. My stream playthrough of the demo, I knew to like wait and make the clothing shop right, and to have them interact a little more before I did it, which is how we got on my stream VOD. That actually had a short that went not viral, but did really well compared to my others. It's my most popular short on the VOD's channel. Stream version, I had my Fire Emblem husband, and Princess Peach, and Peach stole my Fire Emblem husband. So I'm like, let's open the clothing shop, folks. So I'm keeping an eye on my boyfriend's me on the other one, like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Upcoming ad break. Okay, I just switched my ad stuff to try to do less pre-rolls, which is good, I think, but that means we're gonna have more ads. I'm gonna use a snooze timer. For 5 minutes? Oh, I didn't know it was that short. I'll let them run next time. But yeah, that way, I know it like will randomly hit people with ads with pre-rolls, so people won't find the stream and they'll get hit with a bunch of random stuff. So the scheduled ads, it's gonna feel more frequent, I bet, and I apologize to folks, but it means less pre-rolls when you actually like join stream, and it means I get notifications about when the ads are scheduled, so I can stop if I'm like playing a game and we're at an important part. I am the type of streamer that I'd want to stop and wait until everyone got back. Ooh. So we got that there. I think we need to grab a jump pad now, but I forget which ones I use. Let me go to another. Yeah, let me open up Spiral Tower and see if... I don't think I put the jump pads in the template level for some reason, because I'm silly. But I'll do it now. Essen box. I don't know. I don't know if I have. That doesn't sound familiar to me. Yeah, this is another one of our Kid Icarus maps here. With one very visible difference from the 3DS game. One slight difference. Okay, where did I put the jump pads in here? Because yeah, they're not called jump pads, I think is why I lost them. They're launchers. Where's the templates? I'm just gonna put a few in here. Actually, I think we are just using launcher up. Launcher push is more like kind of a dash that I've used in my last portfolio piece, actually. Which is the hard thing with burnout too. Even though I am like full-time employed again, like the back of my mind's like, and I shouldn't need to because I have like content that has been released to the public in the past year that I'm really proud of. So I'm like, my portfolio is completely up to date, but the back of my mind, the job before that, I had like a really great AAA release, but then I had like 3 unannounced projects that I can't show stuff, even though it's in my favorite blockout work. So I had like a 1 to 2 year gap of like content on my portfolio, which I think personally is normal, but you get self-conscious when you're on the job market, right? So the back of my mind's like always telling me like, hey, you gotta work on more portfolio stuff. But at the end of, I know it's silly, but I have been finding a lot of personal fulfillment in like focusing on the Twitch and YouTube stuff recently, even though I've been doing Twitch for like what, it's been 7 years now. YouTube, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the video essays, but it's been really fulfilling for me, which is why I'm glad you guys enjoy like all the video essay stuff so much, because I'm like, I know I could use that time to go all in and keep improving my level design skills. I could build a different set of skills to go into a different career. I could build different skills to go into a different subset of game dev. That's all stuff that would require an immense amount of time, but I'm also putting that amount of time into like streaming and video creation, right? But like, I feel like I found something that has made me feel really balanced and really happy with the Twitch and YouTube stuff. I don't make anything off of YouTube yet, and then I make maybe like 100 off of Twitch each year so far. So I'm like, it's probably silly for what, like financially what I get back out of it, but in terms of like just feeling happy, I'm like, dang, this stuff feels good to do. I think the game dev streams are my nice little balance of I'm still using my industry skills, but I'm doing it in a format that gives me a lot of fulfillment as well, which is why I want them to return in June. Okay, yeah, we got the push one there. Oh, that was an insane drop. Ooh, what song is this? Just Peachy. Thank you so much for playing my game. That was fire! Mr. Gary's mod himself? I had no idea that those folks were making their own like kind of Roblox competitor. I mean, if we're talking like Gary's mod, I think if anyone's gonna be a strong competitor in like the Roblox Fortnite space, right, it's gonna be them. You probably in an ad right now. My chat's in an ad. What do I do during ad breaks for game? I didn't think this through. I guess I'll talk to you guys, YouTube. How are you all doing? Hello, VOD channel. Actually, you know what? The ad breaks are the perfect time for me to just talk to. Let me just talk to the subs on Twitch and talk to the subs on the YouTube VOD channel. I don't talk to you guys enough. I don't talk to you guys enough over on the VOD channel, and I apologize. But you all are awesome. Especially the giant influx that came out of like the Tomodachi Life stuff. I am working on a another video that I was gonna put on the main channel, but I think I'll put it on the VOD channel since it is very Tomodachi Life specific. I think I'll put it on the VOD channel and I'll just list my main channel as like a collaborator, similar to what I do with the compilations on the main channel, listing the VOD channel as a collaborator so that both channels see it. But yeah, it is the lore recap leading up to Tomodachi Life. I thought it would be a 10-minute video. It is closer to 20. So I've been working on editing, but I actually sat down, I did the voice recording for it. I finalized the script, did the voice recording, edited the voice recording, and did a music pass all in like one sitting. Usually I spend like a day each on each of those. I did it all in one sitting, despite it being like the same length of a video and complexity of a video essay. I don't know, I was just like, I gotta get this done. And yeah, I've kind of assembled a bunch of like old footage from where I can, and like just kind of like clips of different characters we're talking about, though most of them will be just like JPEG images. So it won't be like super high quality, it won't be like a games trailer timeline video level of production. It will be kind of a super quick turnaround on the visual side of things. But I'm hoping to get that out to you guys at the start of next week, or even the middle. Dearly beloved. Is this a remix or is this? Hold on, let me add that to my favorites. Let me add that Mario one from earlier to my favorites also. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Twitch. I was just having a discussion with the VOD channel. They're getting a treat next week. And then Dearly Beloved started playing, and I was like, oh. It's a lit version of Dearly Beloved, though. I gotta give him that. Okay, let's see how... Is this jump pad? Nope, it's not giving us any boost at all right now. Up override. I forget. Let's try 2000. Just a nice even number. Ooh, that's a little too high for that one. You should be able to jump comfortably up here, but not all the way to the balcony. But that was a close guess. Do 1500. Yeah, back to the Gary's Mod stuff. I think, yeah, that'll be a just incredible kind of competitor. I think the strongest. I know it makes me sad as someone that really like the like Fortnite editor, someone that's applied to Epic many times, and someone that's used Unreal Engine, and I adore Unreal Engine so much for like 99% of my career and personal work. And I always stand by how like accessible it is to like get into and to learn, especially if you're a visual learner, how many resources there are out there. So yeah, the Epic layoff stuff has made me like so sad to see, and I do worry, like, what does that mean for Fortnite as well? I'm like, they focus so much on being like a Roblox competitor with some of its stuff, and I'm like, is there anyone over in that department? anymore, because I was complaining last time we did like an Oz Tycoon map the past 2 Octobers for like Halloween and for the Wicked movies and stuff. And the last time I was in those, we kind of swapped back to doing Unreal Engine 5 from the Fortnite creator stuff. Because I was like, there are so many bugs that get introduced in the Fortnite creator tool that takes so long to resolve, if they'll ever be resolved. Like, there was an XP bug for like a solid month that I was like, okay, well, I can't gauge how to balance my levels right now, so I guess I just won't make any. And it was like kind of hugely off-putting compared to like being able to find answers and workarounds and stuff for the main version of Unreal Engine, right? So yeah, it went from something that should have been easier to use to being a bit more tedious, which is why I stopped it. But now I'm like, think of all the people that do like rely on making maps through there, or like the companies that have built up teams to make maps through that. I'm like, what's gonna happen to them as well? It's like such a trickle effect of like what's gonna happen to the Fortnite economy for creators, for players, for the employees. I'm hoping stuff pulls through, but only time will tell. And yeah, it's also the time for like, if there are competitors in the market, to rise up. Like, yeah, releasing at the end of this month is kind of crazy timing on their parts. Crazy good timing. Also, I need to give 13 like a full playthrough. 13 I've watched all the cutscenes for vividly. See, I never get the... There are some characters in 13 that I find annoying. And then I'm like, good god. But for the most part, I also view 13 as like... I think that's part of the charm of it, weirdly enough, is like, it's not... I love 15 also, but it's not like your close group of best friends. It's people that are like, oh my god, I don't want to work with you, and they get branded together like for life, and they're like, the worst person you've ever thought of is now like your co-worker till that day you die. And it's like, god. That's like the vibe of the first 13 game. So I have played a bit of that one itself, but I never finished it, and part of me has always hoped for a remaster on console. I think the whole 13 trilogy's on Steam, so like I definitely want to replay. If I fully play and replay the first one, I would want to play 13-2 and Lightning Returns as well, because I think the whole trilogy, it definitely could have ended at 13, but I think the entire trilogy has a lot of perks to it with the story as well. So yeah, I think 13's super underrated. It's not in my favorite Final Fantasy just because I would need to beat it before I rank it. But it's something that I've been itching to play it again for some time. I probably should just cave in. I feel like the second I cave and buy the trilogy on Steam, they're gonna be like, hey folks, PS5 remake of the 13 trilogy, and I'll be like, wow, that's so cool. I can't believe it. Though maybe I should do it just to wish that into existence. But yeah, I love basically, my opinion is there's not really a bad Final Fantasy. There's some like 14 I've played a bit of. There's some that are just like, because it's an MMOs give me severe social anxiety, so I don't play it a lot. But I'm like, I could recognize how it would be someone's like favorite game of all time. And I think it's a good game because of that, right? And then I love the modern like action stuff with 7 Remake, with 15, with 16. I adore those games a lot. And I think a lot of people would be like, oh, what are the terms the kids use now? LARPing, new gen, fake fan, all of that. And I'm like, 10's my favorite game of all time. That's like the perfection of the turn-based Final Fantasy formula. There's like not a lot of extra gimmicks or anything. it's a story that entwines religion, nature, and technology. Like, those are things touched on in a bunch of, or focused on in a bunch of other Final Fantasy games, and it's all woven together into one mythos here. I'm like, I would say I know ball when it comes to Final Fantasy. I have like 7 through 10, the original versions on, or the ported versions of the non-remake, full remake versions on my Switch, and I go through them every now and again to feel something. Oh, but yeah, it's Final Fantasy's great. Very tempted to do like a Final Fantasy franchise video, but I'm letting the Zelda franchise video cool down a bit first before I get killed, before I get murderized. I think the next franchise video I want to do actually would be okay, these didn't clip through the walls, but I kind of like these as additional cover pieces here. I think I'm gonna leave these. That looks sick. What was I saying? Wait, where was my thought? Oh yeah, in terms of franchise videos on the main channel for like video essays, I feel like the next one I want to tackle might be an even more bloodthirsty and cutthroat franchise that like the world's never seen. Animal Crossing. I'm tempted to in the next year. I'm gonna pull my Discord on it, but I'm tempted to make a what makes an Animal Crossing game an Animal Crossing game. And if you watch my Zelda video, you already know, or if you watch my channel, you already know I'm very much I typed in Animal Crossing in the place actors. I'm very much they're all Animal Crossing games. We should we should love all of them and play all of them equally. And that opinion's gonna get me massacred online, I think. So I'm trying to think. I need to make it clickbaity, but I'm like, how do I not get killed for saying I like Animal Crossing? But I really do want to talk about, there's such a big difference between the GameCube Animal Crossing and New Horizons. You could argue just from those two games that they're not in the same franchise at all. But I think there's a natural progression towards the direction New Horizons has taken from Wild World City Folk and New Leaf. That fascinates me. That like point A and Z look completely different, but they still have some of the same characteristics, and everything added to New Horizons has been kind of like hinted at or started, like a little prototype version of it throughout the middle games. So yeah, definitely want to make more franchise focused videos, but I'm also like, those are very delicate matters. Those are very delicate matters, so I could probably do like one every like brainstorming phase of videos. I am tempted to, I don't know if I would want to like play 14 more off stream, or to eventually like, it would have to be a huge stream goal, because I know it has probably what, like we're talking hundreds of 1,000 hours of content for it being an MMO. But I know people are like, and it's not just people that have only played MMOs and 14, right? It's people that played other Final Fantasy games. This is their first MMO, and they're like, hey, this is one of the best Final Fantasy stories of all time. I know it's great. And I'm like, I was just talking to my cousin about this at Easter. He's like, wow, it's been several years. He was a kid when he first was like, you need to play Xenoblade Chronicles, and that man is in college now, and he's like, you still haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles. And I'm like, that's a 1,000-hour franchise. Persona, each game's like over 100 hours. I'm like, I know we just spent 100 hours on Elden Ring. I know I'm going to spend 1,000 hours in each file I have for Tomodachi Life. But I feel like I'm keeping up with so many franchises right now that I always get tempted to start a new one, and I'm like, how much of a game am I committing to with this? So that's why I like to save some as like channel goals. Um, as well. Like, Elden Ring was a charity stream goal originally. I think if whenever I'm ready to play like Lies of P, it would be another charity stream goal, right? Most likely. The Zelda timeline idea is a huge follower milestone. I want to play some more Resident Evil games. We played Requiem, which was my first one I've fully played through. So now I actually bought a ton while they were on sale. All of like the ones from like 7 onwards in terms of mainline and remake stuff. So I'm like, I got all that stuff, but I'm like, those will likely be other like goals to play through more of those games. But it is fun. I am a variety channel, so we have our franchises that take priority over everything else. Like different Nintendo things, Zelda, Final Fantasy, and Kingdom Hearts always are gonna have top priority and overthrow everything. But yeah, I think that we've had like a nice little bit. I don't, as long as Kingdom Hearts 4 and 3 and 3 remake come out at some point, right? Then I don't mind the wait for that. I know a lot of people are already like, even though we just got a new Zelda game like what, like 2 years ago, I want to say, people are gonna, well, we just got Age of Imprisonment, and that counts for me, actually, as well. I know people are already like, where's another Zelda game? I'm honestly fine waiting, because I'm like, I actually have time to check out new franchises now, so that's very exciting to me. Monster Hunter's one I've only ever dabbled in as well. I've never, I'm trying to think, I played a little bit of Monster Hunter World, I think, was the last one I remember being on my radar. But yeah, that's another like huge franchise of games. I don't think I'd have to play every one though. I think that's when you can just jump in with a game, right? And just kind of enjoy the world there. So I'm very curious, if I could play one Monster Hunter game, my mind would be World, because that's what I'm familiar with. But what would people's recommendation for that one Monster Hunter be? What did I learn from Elden Ring? It's hard. It's hard. I think what yeah, the biggest thing I learned was that it's a lot more than meets the eye. A lot of people make the argument like, oh, they're just difficult to be difficult, and there's definitely points of the game where I'm like, why is my camera clipping through everything? I'm like, there's no reason for this. There were multiplayer sessions we did where I'm like, my internet is weirdly enough stable today. Their internet was stable enough, and I'm like, I guess we can't play though, because the Elden Ring just doesn't want to work. It's not cross-platform for multiplayer as well. I'm like, I never think that's a requirement. Being in game dev, I'm like, I know how difficult that is. I'm like, so I never expect it to be a requirement. But From Software's a really big. They did a lot of stuff, right? And they did a lot of technical online stuff, so I'm like, you're telling me cross-platform was always off the table? When being on the same platform doesn't even help you connect? Like, being friends with each other wouldn't even help you connect in the first place? I'm like, there's a lot of small things that I'm like, okay, maybe this was too difficult to be too difficult, but the full picture of it is, if I was able to brute force my way through every boss, I wouldn't have explored like 70% of the map. Is what I saw from my Journey 2 run. Like, I would have just ran through it as quick as I can and be like, man, that was miserable to be miserable, and put it down and been disappointed with it. But because it was so difficult that it was like, I don't have the skill to beat this, I have to just be over leveled to play this. And I couldn't, it wasn't like level grinding the way I do in like JRPGs like Kingdom Hearts. I go back a few rooms, find the room with the most enemies, and just like flow motion off of everything until I level up eventually, right? Elden Ring, there's no like group of enemies you can repeatedly kill over. There are some spots, but usually like not right outside of a boss room or anything. It's like, I've got to go on a side adventure now, and on that side adventure you'll meet NPCs, you'll see new dungeons, you'll visit new things. It's like, yeah, a majority, I think there were 3 months on the channel where I had kind of accidentally sped ran from Stormhill Castle, that kind of end of the first zone. My chat didn't know how I did it. They're like, how are you doing that? But I somehow speedran from there straight to like the correct entrance of the capital with like the side entrance with the tree sentinel in like an hour or two. Like in one stream, I just made my way all the way over there and bypassed everything else. I hadn't encountered Radon, skipped the whole academy, missed Turtle Pope, skipped every like minor Erdtree and stuff, and I just ended up in the capital ready to go. But I couldn't beat that sentinel, and he is like kind of a blocker to get into the capital, so I spent 3 months exploring like other giant sections of the map in order to get strong enough to do that. Which it turns out I would have, even if I was strong enough to beat him, I know now from my replay that I would have had to, is that auto building nav? No. Ah. But yeah, I know now I would have had to, go ahead and like go get some more like great runes and stuff, but yeah, I didn't even need like that blocker, just the difficulty blocker on its own. I was like, I need to go get good right now. Okay, am I crazy? Where did they add the build? Oh, they added it up here. I was just using Unreal 4 for a lot of stuff, so I'm like, where do I build navigation? This is why I need to use Unreal 5 again, because a lot of places are. Did I use the wrong nav thing? Hold on. What is this? Nav mesh bounds. Oh, I used a modifier. I'm silly. I'm silly! God damn. And it is auto building. Okay, I was like, I thought I had auto build on since we're just in blockout right now. There we go. Voila. Now we need to add a few navlink proxies to allow the AI to jump down into this space. Otherwise, they will just stare down it. Now, the one thing with Lyra, there's several things with Lyra's AI, but by default out of the bag, they don't jump up. And it's frustrating because this template has all the jump pads and stuff, and they have jump pads in their level, but they don't use them. The AI doesn't use them. So I'm like, what? I'm like, is this finished? There's a lot of unfinished stuff in this template that I think they're like, aha, learn how to make it yourself. But like, that kind of defeats the purpose of a template. If you're like, hey, I don't do programming, but I need like a shooter template to try out a layout idea or a different game mechanic, or like make like an art corner but want to have a little bit of gameplay in it. Like, if you're focused on something else and you're just wanting to use a template, this fails spectacularly at that. Actually, I'll add some from here as well. Oh wait, this wall needs to be lowered. This is clipping way too much. Wilds is the most modern one. Rise is a more arcadey one made for new players. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I think I'd have to see which one goes on sale. Nah, I'd have to like compare them a bit and see. But yeah, I am personally glad to know that they cater to new players as someone that would be a newer player to it. I know sometimes that can be a frustrating design direction, is when you're like, oh, I can't wait to have something that builds upon all these mechanics even more, right? And then it's like, this game will be focused on getting new players. It's like, no. I know sometimes that can be frustrating, but I also think it's an important thing. I think even with like sequels and stuff, as well, a lot of times, like numbered sequels like Kingdom Hearts 3, a lot of people were like, why are they making it accessible to new players? You know, people are gonna get confused. You're supposed to play all the spin-offs before this. Making it accessible to new players just kind of negates that, and like people are gonna be really angry about the lore and stuff, which still sucks that people went into it like, I won't play the important lore beforehand. Why don't I understand it? But from a gameplay perspective, I think if you go in and you're like, yeah, I probably won't get everything because I've missed a few games, but the gameplay is still fun and inviting, I'm like, I think you do have to prepare for like the idea of what if someone that's never touched this franchise before touches this game. I think that's something Resident Evil 9 did perfectly. A lot of people were like nervous for me. They're like, no, you can't play 9 first. You don't know who Leon Kennedy is. And I'm like, I know who Leon Kennedy is. I've been on the planet Earth. I know who he is. He's not that gate-kept. Why is this one not getting set up? Actually, why are you not getting set up? What? Okay, they just need a little more of a jump. But yeah, when people see a game is popular, sometimes it's like, it's not like a TV. I think TV shows, when people are like, I don't want to watch all of this, I'm just gonna jump right into like season 6 of something. I think that's a little less forgivable, but video games are like hundreds of hours of like commitment sometimes to catch up. So I think it makes sense to be like, let's just make sure anyone can understand this. Or sometimes it's been a while since you've played a game. That's why I like to replay games a lot, but I like give it several years in between a replay to be like, wow, this, like Final Fantasy X, I keep saying probably my favorite game of all time. Next time I replay it, I will still get stuck on the same dungeons. I'll be like, yep, I forgot how to do this. I fully forgot. And that's okay with me, because then it will make the experience fresh again. I do remember that one dungeon with like all the grids and stuff. That temple is a bitch though. I don't need to replay that one anytime soon. Why are you being so difficult over here? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think there's definitely a difference between like being able to appeal and accommodate new players and like only changing for new players. I think we saw like that with a lot of platformers, honestly. A lot of platformers like Banjo-Kazooie even, Spyro, I just thought of another one, the initial one that popped into my head and it's gone. Oh, Sly Cooper, Sly 4, where they're like, we're gonna reboot the franchise, or like do a soft reboot of everything, and make it cooler. And because we're making it cooler, we're gonna try to pull in a new audience with that. And I think those all still had good games and good mechanics with them, but it does feel a lot further from the classic games and the original way people love those, right? Because when you say, oh, we want to make something cool that everyone will love, it is kind of, it's just a personal design thing. I don't think there should initially be any heat with that, but it does kind of sting when it's your favorite franchise to be like, why wouldn't people love it the way it was, right? You do kind of get that possessive mentality of, why wouldn't you love it? Like, I think a lot of people, not to Rachel Ziegler's fault of her own. I think quite possibly she's the only one that could have possibly saved that Snow White remake. But yeah, I know a lot of. I personally always I used to like the Disney remakes a bit more when they like did something different with them. Which they haven't, and that's what I'm worried about with the Moana one. I'm like, oh, this is shot for shot the exact same movie, just with no color. Oh. But yeah, Snow White, I wanted to, I still haven't watched it, but I wanted to like get hyped for it because I'm like, maybe it sounds like they are going to do something different, but they kept in interviews, they kept talking about like, oh, well, no one would have liked the original Snow White. Like, what a bad message to send to kids, and stuff. And I'm like the animated movie that brought us all to the entire animation genre to where it is now. Like, I understand it's like outdated, but like they kept talking about like the original Snow White, some plague on the earth, and it's not. There's a lot of weird outdated stuff, but like also a lot of the animation still holds up today. There's still a reason to watch it. Because Snow White, they're like, oh, she's a damsel in distress and that's bad. She was like an abducted and abused 14-year-old, man. Why would I get mad at the 14-year-old princess for that and be like, oh, what a bad example for kids. Kids love Snow White. Kids love all the Disney princesses. What are we talking about? I really like the live action Little Mermaid because they did different stuff. I think, yeah, the actress they got to play Ariel was enough of a reason to go see, a new Little Mermaid tale. But having seen it, they did improve on a lot of the relationships between the characters from the animated movie, but they did so in a way where it didn't feel like they were going, yeah, because the animated movie sucks. Because you wouldn't say that about a project in a franchise you love, right? You wouldn't be like, and I've seen it happen in games too. I have seen it in the industry. I've heard people say, yeah, this project we're working on, the previous one's kind of ass. And it's like, should we be working on this then? It's I think even if the previous one is kind of ass, I think you still need to pay a little bit of respect and understand, yeah, you want to bring in a new audience, but think of you wouldn't have the opportunity to bring in a new audience if there hadn't been that original one in the first place. So I don't know why I went on a random tangent about remakes and franchises with that, but But yeah, I think people always think of it like very strongly one way or the other sometimes. They're like, oh, it should either only appeal to classic fans or it needs a full reboot. But I think the strongest combinations and the strongest like franchise games and like remakes of like games or movies we've seen today are things that respect both audiences and are like, you are both people with a mind, with a brain. We're gonna both give you little treats. We're gonna make a little meal that will be scrumptious to both of you. I just think that's the best way to approach design. I think as soon as you start being like, yeah, we don't want to make this for those people, then it starts to be like, so what are we doing here? Alright, let me start placing some player starts. Rise World Wilds. Was I using Lyra player starts? I think I was. I guess we'll find out. Let's just put a bunch of them in here for now and see if I get shot here, then we'll know they work. They work! Those are the correct spawn points. They work! Okay, where to put them? I'm trying to remember where you spawn in this game. I guess I should put 2 at these like upper corners here, so that the AI has a chance to jump up. or jump down from there. Since they can't jump up here. I do want to, when we revisit this, make a revision where there's like still like the jump pad up. Oh, I need to put a jump pad in those corners. But there's still like the jump pads up and the like drop down in the corner for the players, but we'd have like a little spiral staircase or something along the sides for the AI to nav up that stuff. I think, yeah, the jump pads are on the inner parts. And they probably don't need to be that tall, maybe just 700? I don't want you to like jump out of the map if you use this. Okay, that's not enough at all though. That's also not. I guess we need a little more oomph. That's oomph. Oh, what did should I have just left it at 1500? I'll do 1400. Surely that's enough. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I'll definitely do a blocker pass to keep them in the arena. Seal them inside. The funnier option is placing a kill Z up there. Horrible, horrible design, but very funny. Being like, hey, you had too much fun on the jump pad. You are now beheaded. The funnier option is placing a reverse gravity event that leads to a kill zone. Ah, now we're designing. This is what the players want. I'm telling you, being in level design. Also, hello, hope you're doing well today. Being in level design, I'll be on. There have been some days where I've had like just bad days. Or whenever people like in playtesting give like the feedback of like, oh, it's boring and easy, I like look at like the spawn count number and I'm like, oh, it's easy. And just start to crank it up a little bit. I'm like, then suffer. Then you can suffer. That was actually a compliment I got. I've gotten both at my previous job and at this job. I've been told like what people like about my early like prototypes and blockouts has been, they're like, yeah, you just have this way of like knowing how to like torment players, but in like a really engaging way that isn't like broken or impossible to beat, you know, just like how to toy with them and to mess with their mind in a really twisted way. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, thank you so much. Wow. I'm like, I just thought it would be funny, because that's a big thing I talk about as well with design, and I try to do in a lot of my level designs, especially working on like some SCP stuff now, is I'm like, I like to give players a little bit of hope. I'm like, you've got to give them like breaks in combat, you got to give them like safe rooms, you got to give them something pretty to look at, give them little spaces of hope. And then torment them. And then torment them. If you just actually do non-stop torment for an entire level and you're just at intensity level 10 the entire time, it's gonna feel like intensity 0 because there's nothing to compare it to. So having areas that dip down and aren't as intense, where players can like catch a breath, or you give them like, you have a light in the distance and they're like, oh, that's the exit. No, it's not, boy. No, it's not. Actually, I did like a gimmick like that in a recent arena level that went live on that game's early access a few updates ago. But I'll kind of wait. I'm kind of waiting to talk more in detail about those arenas and all of my maps until like all of that stuff is a little more like finalized one day. I can't speak on professional work too much unless it's been like out there for a while, just out of safety of NDAs, because leaks suck. But I can say I've definitely used that mindset to help make some spookus stuff. I'll do a spawn in this corner. Actually, no. I only have 6 spawn points right. I'll add more spawn points, actually. What am I? Only 6 spawns. You go there. I remember making a like turret BP for like a scripting class in college, and my idea for that was my like final project for that class was we had to like make something that used the different BPs we learned how to make in class, including like that turret one, and we had to use like a RPG template that the TA had made. Shout out to my college TA. They helped to like they helped us so much. Like all my friends in the industry, like I don't know if we would have made it that far without that TA for real. But yeah, my idea for like an RPG where you have to have like a turret that locks onto people as you like get closer, right, was a supermarket. I did I think I have the paper design of it somewhere and maybe some videos still. Maybe one day we'll do like another college like throwback day where we look at my old college stuff. But yeah, it was like an idea where I don't know if I had like watched The Mist again or what, but it was like the concept of you're trapped in a supermarket during like a snowstorm with like a bunch of other NPCs, and each NPC like claims a different part of the store as like their territory. So like by the frozen food section, like some kid set up a bunch of like some really smart super genius kid set up a bunch of turrets and stuff, right? One of the workers like set up traps like leading into the back of the warehouse, like because they're the only one that knows the code, so they barricaded themselves in there. And then there were also like little fetch quests you would do for the different NPCs to like build up relationship meters with them. So yeah, there would be like characters, like there would be a character in the Starbucks that was like, hey, if you can like get me this game from the gaming section and make a trade with them over there, like it will up our friendship and stuff and give you like this amount of stuff. So yeah, it was a really fun little concept. Very simple blockout, but I had a fun time with it. And then the actual like RPG like turn-based action of that game would be, the plot twist would be somebody in, I had to make it just one, like scripted to just one person, but if I had made it a full game, it would have been randomized each time you play. Somebody in the store is actually a witch, a magic user, and they would be, you would be like, wait, somebody's causing the blizzard that's keeping us in here, because they want to like hoard the grocery store for themselves. The sick mind. So you would be like talking to people and trying to figure out like through your relationships with them who is kind of like, no, I'm not a human, who is keeping you here in the store a bit. And then you could like enter a turn-based battle. If you were to accuse someone, it would go into turn-based combat. And then if you won but it was the incorrect person, you would lose, like your reputation would go down and all of their questline stuff would be like locked, because they'd be like, well, you did attempt to kill me, so no, we're not friends anymore. And if you attempted that on like the wrong 3 people, then the store would execute you and be like, you're accusing a lot of people of being a witch. Are you a witch? And they would kill you instead. Oh, I had so many fun like little prototypes in college that I am tempted to be like, That could actually be a good summer or a good Blocktober project even. Actually, now that I think about it, would be revisiting different college prototypes I had. Like, I had an Olive Garden pinball machine idea. I had like a text-based idea where it was like a text-based adventure where you get up in your college dorm room in the morning, and then all you have to do is like follow the correct options to get the class and have a successful day. But it would be options like, oh, your roommate was out late partying, like but do you clean up their mess or do you not? And then that could affect if something like if your roommate killed you on the way to class or something based on your choice there, or like even choices to like hit the alarm repeatedly and sleep through class and just insta game over from the start because of that. I had that idea. I had a prototype where it was like a stealth it was a stealth game, kind of like I guess kind of like a non-scary version of Granny, kind of that genre of game. Where you were trying to get out of detention in middle school, so you could be like a cookie dealer. You could deal cookies to the other middle school kids. You'd have to like go to your locker and then deliver it to people around the school, even though you're supposed to be in detention, and avoid like the teachers' patrol paths. Oh, fun times, fun times. Okay, I think I need to put some health and guns down real quick, and then That's not my boyfriend. That's not an eldritch being screaming. That's not someone being tortured in the background. My cat just woke up and realized it's cloudy outside. If y'all heard that wailing, it's fine. There's no one being tortured in my household. He just opened his eyes and he saw that there's a cloud outside, and his day's been just incredibly ruined as a result. The worst thing that could happen to a cat, really. I was looking at the mic to see if it would pick up, and it sure did. It sure picked up, I think. Also, I should have made a gameplay layer for this. We'll organize this level more in the summer. This is an issue for future Emily. Remember this when we revisit this over the summer, and I'm like, who put all of this stuff into blockout level? What idiot? What idiot organized stuff like this? Remember what I'm doing right now. Did it crash? Oh, there we go. It's just taking a while because I have auto build navigation on. Yeah, I would love to maybe revisit some college stuff. That could be fun. Another project I did was for an audio design class, and my final for that one was kind of like, that was kind of like a little horror game too, where it would be kind of like, it would be a very colorful click-based adventure game. I guess the closest thing that came out around the time I was working on that, it came out after I did my prototype, mind you, but it was Amanda the Adventure. So it was kind of a similar idea to that, but a little more linear, and less like puzzles in your like little hub space. But it would be like you're playing through this visual novel, and stuff, and then like the princess character keeps like making allusions to your missing like brother, and where could he be and all of that, and eventually like there's a moment where like you get to a screen where like all of the fluffy little critters on the screen have been slaughtered and are dead. But I'm not an artist, so it's just red pixel art. But slaughtered and dead. And then yeah, from that screen you would like actively pull out and be in like first person all of a sudden, instead of a fixed like 2D camera. And you would like pull away from the monitor and you'd be in this abandoned library and you'd hear like noises all around you, so you'd have to follow the path, and the more you made your way out of the library, the more like corrupted the space would be, until you walk outside and everything's just like rainbow hallucinogenic floating around and stuff. And you get to the end of that section and you just pass out when you see your brother's hat on the ground. Dun dun dun, what has happened to him? But that, since it was an audio project, that's why I went with something scarier to do a lot of like spooky sound effects and stuff. But the funniest part of all of that was recording the sound effects. I had one of my friends, I was like, I need someone to voice act a kidnapped child for me, and he was like, oh, me. And to make it accurate, I was using this blue Yeti mic, right? So I had him like sit in front of it. I'm like, okay, I want you to just like read these lines. You're a very scared little Victorian boy, you know, like do those little lines. I'm not gonna tell you when, but I am going to like at some point use a pillowcase and like just throw it over your head and pull you away from the mic. I won't tell you when, I won't tell you how severe. I'm like, but as a heads up, we're gonna get this kidnapping sound accurate, mind you. And that's how I got the sound. I just let him like run through, I think like 90% of the lines. And then I just like actively kidnapped him in front of the mic, and I'm like, I think we only did like one take of it too. I'm like, hey, that was pretty good. Thank you. College was so fun. The games projects were so fun. Any of the other like required classes, I was bad about going to them. I'll admit. I did find myself more in the Starbucks cafe seating than I did the physics lecture hall. But I made it. I got my degree, I got out of there, I got a job. Layoffs hit from that job, but I found another job. After a while. And I have savings in case it happens again, because the industry is crazy. But I think I'm good for now. I mean, clearly I have the skills to kidnap a person for an audio design class, so I'm like, those are some fun projects we could revisit in the future. But yeah, it's almost speaking of work, it's almost time for me to go to work, but let me whoa, what did I switch it to? There we go. But let's play a little bit and see. I'm already gonna die. I don't remember the... Okay, Q's the grenade. So yeah, this is what the map is like in Kid Icarus Uprising now that we've remade it. However, another pass I like to do for these remakes, and it's something you might notice with slight differences in where stuff is positioned in remakes of games, is that even though Kid Icarus is also a third-person shooter technically for that mode, it's much more like power-up focused. Your characters move much slower, you can't jump, you just use the jump pads. And it's balanced a lot more with melee, so you can't really get sniped unless someone's using like specifically a really good sniper weapon and such. But you'll notice Lyra, even though it's the same genre of template, much different gameplay wise. So for something like Lyra, we need to add a lot more cover pieces to help you not get sniped that aren't present. So even though this is now accurate mostly 1-to-1, I would say with a recreation of all of the mechanics for that arena, because we are using a template and we don't have 1-to-1 gameplay with the original game, Oh, that guy's stinking down there. We've got to make some additional changes. We'll need to add lighting. Hi, bub. Oh, I think actually that's the nav links. Let me fix that real quick. So I forgot to set them all. Right now they go both ways, even though the guys can't jump. So they're trying to jump, but they don't have like the AI to jump, so they just stand there. But if we do left to right, that means they can only jump down. You have to set it in the smart link options as well. But yeah, if we go into our nav now, we'll see it's not pointing both ways, it's just pointing in the down direction. Ooh, informatics and English. Ooh, English classes were also a lot of fun for me. I always liked English class. I think the only times I didn't like English class were like a few AP classes I took in high school where they're like, alright, they kind of killed reading for me for a while. I've only just now gotten back into reading some good, some trashy, some unbearable, spicy books with a book club I'm in with a friend. But weirdly enough, I was like, I had to know what happened next, like even if it was like a bit on the weaker writing side or sillier writing side. I was like, well, I have to know what happens next. And that, funnily enough, got me back into reading after I had been such an avid reader and writer throughout as a kid and like growing up. But then yeah, high school, like AP English kind of killed that for me. They're like, oh, you have to read like this many books, you have to, it was also you have to interpret these books in this way, this is the correct interpretation. And I was like, I don't think that's what I enjoy about like English class and stuff. It's about like learning what the interpretation is and like how to get to that conclusion, not just being told to recite answers. Like it's like that's like math class stuff, is reciting the hard facts and learning the formulas. That should not be the approach to English. So that kind of put me off of English stuff for a bit, but I fell in love with the writing aspect of English a lot more and communication stuff in English a lot more in college, and I've just now come back around to reading, so very glad I did, because I forgot how much I loved it. Oh, it's your second language. Oh, that's awesome then. I always have people that can major in other languages. They're just super admirable. Most I've done is taken like a few Spanish classes and a few like little like Japanese. Trying to learn some Japanese as well. Ad starts? No, it won't, because I will be ending stream. I gotta get to work. Ooh, Lord of the Mysteries. I haven't read that one. I'll have to add it to my backlog. I think the next like cultured set of books outside of the spicy stuff that I want to like reread is I want to reread the Narnia books before like Magician's Nephew, that movie, comes out. I want to reread them. I'm trying to debate if I should reread them in release order or chronological order. I've read them both ways, the whole franchise. Probably I'll go chronological again. Usually I always advocate for, especially on first reads or playthroughs of stuff, you gotta go release order to get the full experience. But I do like redoing stuff in chronological order. 3K chapters? Good luck. Oh my god. Best of luck. But yeah, I think I gotta go to work now. It's 5 minutes after, so I will see you all on the next one, Oh, the music's lit. I will see you guys all on the next one. We could talk more about books then. Yeah, I will be streaming on Saturday, potentially not on Sunday. I might end up going back out to the movies. That's a lot of chapters. But I'll probably go back out to the movies on Sunday. So we're going to try to beat the rest of Galaxy 2 on Saturday, and then a week from now begins the rest of the month is all Tomodachi Life. It's all Tomodachi Life. So if you've been waiting for that, the time has come. But if you are interested to see where our polished stuff with this level happens, we will be revisiting it, do not worry. That will probably just happen over the summer. I'm planning to resume game dev stuff in June, like I said, just trying not to burn myself out too much right now with a lot of stuff. But video essays will still be happening. I'll still be talking to you guys about game design and all of that. If you haven't seen the latest video essay on Elden Ring, it is doing well. If you came here to this channel from that video essay, I hope you stick around for more nerdy game dev spiels in the future. After the Tomodachi Life drama, of course. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next one.